cuties, I'm Brittany with Stitches of Love Quilting, and welcome to the video for making your block 3 of your Christmas Lane block of the month using your embroidery machine. So as always, I have all my prefused laser cut applique pieces ready to go. I've read through my pattern and looked at the order in which I'm going to iron all my pieces, and I've arranged them like so. You can reference your placement guide and your reverse applique pieces to identify the proper number of your pieces. Now the fabric that comes in your box, you'll want to go on and iron that since it's folded. So get all the creases out of that, and then take a look at your pattern and get all of your thread colors ready. So I have white loaded on my machine. I have my butterfly gold, my true gold, and my medium dark avocado threads ready to go. These are all sulky 40 weight threads. As always, I have my Steady Betty in front of my embroidery machine. Underneath, I have my cutting mats when I'm ready to trim. I'm ready to go with a ruler and a rotary cutter. And then, of course, I have my favorite steam fast travel iron so I can easily iron my pieces in the hoop of my machine. So without further ado, load your embroidery file, load your 8x12 hoop, that white thread, and let's get going with the first step. Okay, so you can see that your machine is now stitched a line at the top and bottom of your hoop. I'm gonna place my hoop on my Steady Betty. I do turn it sideways, so take note of that while you're watching the video. So it fits on my Steady Betty nicely. I'm gonna take my background fabric, I'm gonna center it over my hoop, and I'm just gonna make sure that I have plenty going over those 2 stitched lines. And I'm gonna put some tape and tape this little guy in place. Now look at step 9 of your pattern. It's very important that you pay attention to the thread colors because we're doing a thread change right now, and the machine is gonna stitch the accent line of the bow. Let me give you a quick little peek at the front of the pattern. So this little bow is gonna get stitched. Your machine is also going to give you that trim line again for the top and bottom. It's fine that that's in gold because we're gonna cut it off. And then we're also going to have the line stitched that's going to show us where to place our rickrack in the next step. So load this butterfly gold and let's keep going. Okay, take a look at your cute little bow stitch. You'll notice that's stitched much thicker than the little guideline. It's a triple stitch. So we're gonna put this in front of us, and what we're gonna do is carefully put our rickrack in place over this line. So when it's stitched in place, your machine is gonna go over that exact same line. So you want the middle of your rickrack to go over that. And we give you more, we're gonna have extra hanging off of both ends. And now here's my tip. Don't be shy with the tape. Go on and get this little guy taped in good. You will spend a minute pulling some tape off, but you'll know that your rickrack is perfectly in the right spot. So I truly am just gonna cover the little guy. And now when I do my next step on my machine, I am going to go to the settings of my machine, and I am going to slow my stitch speed down, because to me that just guarantees that it's gonna stay in place. If it starts to wiggle or anything, it's much easier to stop it and catch it. But all of our testers have said they've really had no problem with the rickrack, which I love. But as you can see, I am not afraid of tape. It doesn't bother me to pull it off. All right. So there we go, all the way across. And now what we are going to do, very important, I apologize, I just hit the camera. We are going to change our thread to the true red because the machine now is going to do a perfect straight stitch right over our rickrack. Okay, take a look. The rickrack is stitched perfectly in place. As you know, I used a ton of tape, so I am going to gently pull my tape off all the way down. Wouldn't it be cool if I could do it in one fell swoop? I don't think I'll be quite that slick, but it would be awesome if I was. I really like using this medical tape. As you can see, it tears really easily. There we go. And this is the 3M tape that I pretty much always use. And I'm just gonna go all the way down, pulling the tape off. There we go. And now what we're gonna do is put our hoop back on, and we're gonna change our thread to white, and we will leave our thread on the white for several steps. And the machine now is gonna give us the outline of our first several round of pieces for our applique placement. So there we go, change to your white thread, and let's put this hoop back on. Okay, so now you have your first round of applique placement lines, and we're gonna get going in numerical order. So first up is gonna be number 2, this cute red heart. I've gone on and peeled all the backing, of course, off my prefused laser cut applique pieces. That white paper backing you'll remove. And we're gonna simply iron our pieces in place. It's really important to pay attention to the number that the piece is, because for example, right here, they do over and under lap. So you wanna make sure that you have those in the right position. And then we put the big piece of our stocking on. It's a super cute holiday stripe from our friends at Riley Blake. I love it. We use this a lot, actually. It's in our gnome quilt. It's in this quilt. Now we're gonna move over here to the top. We're gonna do piece number 9 first. And again, when I make my pile of pieces, I do so according to the pattern and in numerical order. And then I have it just sitting to the side in that order, and I don't have to think again, which I really like. There we go. And now we have the big part of our little polka dotted stocking. This is also a Riley Blake fabric. I believe it's Lori Holt. I'm pretty sure. Most of the fabrics in this are. And now we're ready to keep that white thread on our machine for the next step. So now we're moving on to step 14. So the machine will give us our next round of applique outlines. Okay, so now we have our next to last round of applique pieces outlined, and we're just gonna start ironing them on. So we're gonna start right up here at the top. And as always, just simply make sure you're inside your stitched line and give it a press. There we go. Go down here to the little front of our stocking. These are so cute, aren't they? I love like this kind of primary color, or not primary color, but like the classic Christmas color mixed in with like the turquoise and the pink of this fabric. I think that's a really fun color scheme. And now we'll do our little boot right here. And give this a press. Now we're working on this stocking right over here. So we're doing pieces 12 and 14 now. There we go. And you'll notice we're not doing the tip of this stocking. That's going to be the next step, and that's so the placement guideline wouldn't be totally covered up by this piece. I wanted to make sure that was in a good spot. So now one more step with the white thread, and your machine will give you that last applique outline. So now our last outline is there. We're going to iron this in place. Then we just have 2 more steps. This is a pretty quick block, isn't it? I feel like it's going fast. So what we're gonna do now is iron this on and then change our thread color to that 1039 true red. And our machine is going to stitch the areas for the red. So it's gonna do our heart, it's gonna do most of this or all of this stocking, and then it's gonna do the top right here of this stocking. All right, so all of our red is stitched. It looks great. Now it's time to do our last thread color change to our 1176 medium dark avocado, and we're gonna get a really nice fun contrast on top of the parts of this stocking and the little top of our left stocking. So let's get going with this thread color. Yay, you're all done from top to bottom. Your block looks great. So now you can move on to steps 20 and 21. You're gonna remove your design from the hoop. You will use your placement guide that comes in your block of the month and these top and bottom trim lines as a guide to trim your block. And then make sure that you do go back and remove any tape that you might have left on your rickrack. You can see I have a little bit left right there and there. I'm just gonna grab a pair of tweezers and grab it out real fast. And then store your block safely and get ready for block 4 coming up to you next month. Happy stitching, everyone.